In the immortal words of one Miss Kennedy Davenport upon her entrance of season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race, well, hello. I hope you're all okay and all good. Welcome to another video. My name is George. For those of you who don't know, feel free to subscribe down below if you're not already. And this is some drag, mama. I needed to get in drag for a little bit of filming that I'm doing today, so I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to do a video where I get in drag, because since getting this job, I've been so damn busy that I haven't had the chance to make all of the videos that I wanted to make during December, and I haven't made any other drag videos apart from me getting in boy drag that one time. So I thought this is an opportunity. Let's take hold of it. So I sent out a little thing on Instagram asking for your drag race opinions for me to react to and talk about. So we're gonna do that. Today's look is gonna be a little bit festive. I'm once again using the Coronation palette from What a Drag UK. I'm going to be using their gold shade Regal, or their bronzy shade Regal, with some red, with a little bit of green under the eye maybe. So we're going like full festive glam. I've got like a bronzy gold dress that I'm gonna wear. We're gonna be blonde today. It's gonna be glorious. So I'm just pulling up Instagram to find out what you guys were saying, because there were a lot of things being said. And I figured the best thing to do is just to start at the very bottom, as it very much were. I need to find my glue. Woefully underprepared for this video, it seems. I feel like I shouldn't reveal who asked these things, because some of these things are... they're not controversial, actually. But I don't want anyone to get like yelled at on the internet for things that they've said that are just sort of like about a TV show. So the first one is season 6 was the best season. Interesting thoughts. Something that I actually see happening I remember seeing this when I first started watching Drag Race, like when a lot of people were getting into it. I was not an early adopter of Drag Race. I feel like I need to say that. I'm not like someone who's been watching it since like 2009 and like I know all the things. That's not... I got into it, I want to say like 4 years ago. I really got into Drag Race and loved it fiercely. And I watched it from season 2 because that's what was on Netflix at the time. And I remember seeing people talking about Drag Race and saying, oh, you should watch season 6 first because it's the best season. And I don't know, maybe I'm some kind of weird Drag Race purist because like this is the order that I watched it in. But there's a part of me that's like, that thinks that you need to kind of see where the show came from. Like how it was very like ready to wear and very like different, especially compared to where it is now. But I realized that I'm not talking about your opinion, which is that season 6 is the best season. Season 6 is a fantastic season. It has some of my absolute favorite queens on it. Courtney Act, Bianca Del Rio, Adore Delano, Darian Lake, Ben de la Creme, Trinity K. Bonet. Have I just named the top 7? I think I did. No, Justin Fox. But like I love season 6. I think it's a fantastic season. And actually, like, I feel like I used to be very like that, very like, oh, you should watch it from the beginning and like see where it's come from to see where it's gonna go. But actually, season 6 is such a great season to start with because it feels like at season 6, the show found its feet. It had figured out who it was. It had figured out the format. It knew what it was doing. Once again, MUA Makeup Academy Pro Base Smooth Set. And I'm going to put links to everything that I use in the description. I think season 6 is a fantastic season and I love it a lot. So I don't necessarily agree that it's the best season, but I think the beautiful thing about Drag Race is that we all have our favorites for different reasons. Now, season 6 is a cracking season. Like, I don't blame people for starting with season 6 because you start with such a good variety of queens. So get into it. The next one is a doozy. And that is Alaska is a brat and didn't deserve to win All Stars 2. We're going in deep with the opinions. Okay, so I recently rewatched All Stars 2. Recently as in like, I want to say like September, I rewatched all of the All Stars. I've used way too much of this today. Back in with the old Kryolan TV paint stick in ivory for my base. As for Miss Alaska, so I recently rewatched All Stars 2 and I love All Stars 2. I think it is I think the closest you can get to like a perfect season of the show. The variety of queens is great. The challenges are fantastic. The runways are just ridiculous. I think it was probably the first season of Drag Race where it was like, oh my God, look what these queens can do with money. Because those looks were just outrageous. There's that interview with Trixie when she's talking about, oh God, she's talking about Katya talking about All Stars 2 and basically saying how it was Detox's runway and the rest of them were just sort of there, which if you look at it, you can kind of believe it because Detox slayed that entire season on the runway. That's not what you're asking for. I can see where you're coming from, and we've talked about this in DMs. Whoever this person is, because I don't want to reveal, because I don't want people to get mad at like people on the internet because it's a TV show. I agree to a point, but like I do think she slayed that season. Like I think her attitude in the makeover episode was awful. And like, I can remember when I was watching it the first time round, I was like, that's just really like off-putting. And it's still off-putting like second time round. But I do very much think that she won the season because she played the game so very well. And like, I think that has to be commended. And I suppose the only other obvious winner then is Katya, which I would have been absolutely fine with because I absolutely love Katya. I don't know, I just feel like Alaska really did slay the season. So it's kind of hard to take that away from her, I'm afraid. I don't know, we may have to disagree on that one. Sorry guys, the headband is going on again. Probably should have glued these pieces of hair down as well. We'll do that now. Will we? I don't know if I want to. That's terrible. I have to do it, otherwise you can see my dark hair in the lace of this beautiful blonde wig. So I'm just gonna have to do this and I'll have to wash my hair afterwards. It's the things we do. The things we do for drag, you guys. And by we, I mean me. So I'm still gluing my eyebrows. I think this is the third layer now. I've said this so many times before, but like getting your brows to lay flat is a freaking art form. And I'm only like 90% good at it. I think I've already talked about what I'm doing today. I'm doing something sort of festive. So it's going to be a standard that girl face, big eye, red, the sort of bronzy colour, and then I'm going to do a little bit of green under the eye just to kind of give it a little bit of a festive kick, which will either make it look really great or it will completely ruin it. And we're going to find out, and I'm excited. It could literally go either way. Last layer of glue is down. I am now going to powder. Oh, and why do I lick the glue stick? Because Trixie does it. And if Trixie does it and ends up looking the way she looks, then there's got to be something to it. I don't know science. They look like they might be okay. I now need to do the sides of my head. Okay, what am I going to do next? I am going to do more of the bottom of my face while I answer the next one of these, which is if you could paint anyone in your face, who would it be and why? I've never painted anyone's face before. I would love to try. I think it would be really fun just to have a go at it, really. Like, it just looks like it's a really fun thing to do. Like, we're talking Drag Race girls. I would love to see someone like Katya, who does very soft makeup, or Courtney Act, who does very soft makeup, in something heavier. In terms of people, Sam and I have talked about this. I would love to, like, paint authors in my face. And Sam knows this. Sam is fully part of this. So Sam, I would like to paint you in my face. Sam fully suggested this. I would love to do some kind of tour where like I just go and I like get to talk to these authors and like I'll paint their faces, and while I'm painting their faces, we're talking about books and stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. Obviously, I have no idea if or when that could ever happen because we are in the glorious corona times, but I just think that would be really cool. And that was fully Sam's suggestion when we were just talking on Instagram. And I just think it'd be a really cool idea. I think it would be so fun. One, to just put a bunch of YA authors in drag. I think that would be really cool. I mean, not necessarily YA authors, but authors. And to talk about books while we do it. I just think it would be it'd be a really interesting crossover of essentially like YouTube communities. Because like, there's obviously the makeup community on YouTube and then there's the booktube community. And I don't know how much crossover there is really. So it would be interesting to kind of make that a crossover thing that happens. But I mean, like I said, I want to paint other people's faces. I want to like learn how to be a better makeup artist, because I don't consider myself to be a makeup artist. The only person I paint really is myself. I'm not saying that like it takes you painting other people to be a makeup artist, but like I'd love to learn how to paint other people and how to do what I do on me on someone else. And that would also mean that if I ever happened to do Drag Race, I wouldn't be one of those queens that's like, I don't paint other people, and ends up like going home in the makeover challenge. Right, now we're gonna use a big brush and we're just gonna get rid of this powder, and then I'm gonna go over all of this with foundation and set this top half of my face to one color, and then we can carry on with the face. Paraphrase Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. If you don't look like you've given leave of your senses, you're not doing drag. This is my least favourite part because I do look like a mess. We're now going to do a bit of contour. So we're going to do my lovely, heavy, heavy, heavy contour. So just from about the middle of the ear, straight down towards the mouth. And do you know what I like about this? Which is the one thing I maybe don't like about my doing boy drag, is that I can just be a little bit wilder and more graphic. Because I do like this heavy contour, I won't lie. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I cannot get over how much I love doing this nose. I am just gonna clean it up with a little bit of white, but I do love doing this like nose that sort of angles inwards. Not even sort of, it angles inwards. Let's not pretend now. I love it. Okay, let's move on. That took way longer than it was supposed to. I'm gonna soften those lines. And now I think we're gonna set the entire face with some powder. Right, so next up we have, what's your most iconic Drag Race look? Eyeliner, NYX Epic Wear, ink liner, marking out the eyes. Sorry. The most iconic Drag Race look. I mean, everything that Shea Coulee wore on her entire season of All Stars is probably one. Ones that immediately spring to mind are Violet Chachki's like reveal dress that she did in the season 7 premiere. A lot of Jada's looks from season 12 are pretty iconic. I'm trying to think of something specific. Detox's black and white at the season 5 finale, I think absolutely takes the cake. It was astounding. Like jaw-droppingly beautiful. These are uneven. A lot of Raja's looks in season 3, if we want to like go, I mean, I say way back. Season 3 was quite a while ago, but like her looks in season 3 were unreal. Oh my god, like Manila's grey sparkly dress where she like stoned her armpit. Like, that was iconic. So many. I do love a good Drag Race runway. I'd love to hear what yours are. Like, feel free to leave them in the comments below, because I know for a fact that I've like probably missed some like huge ones, because just thinking off the top of my head is a struggle. But yeah, a lot of Shea's runways in All Stars 5. The Love the Skin You're In look was unreal. The like bug 3-in-1 thing I thought was incredible. Some of Evie's looks on season 11. So her final look was just stunning. A lot of Davina's looks on Drag Race UK. The one that she made out of like the laundry bags, that was incredible. Some of the Vivien's looks were absolutely gorgeous. Crystal's like full face kini, I think that's what she went home in actually, but it was a gorgeous, gorgeous look. But yeah, I would love to hear what yours are, because I feel like everyone has different ones. Detox is a big one for me, because like all of her runways on All Stars 2 were pretty much like herstory making stuff. Oh god, Kimchi's paper runways. Naomi Smalls Scarecrow runway on season 8 as well. Can you tell I've just finished watching season 8? You have to start a new web series to go up against who's in it? Oh god. I don't think anyone can top Trixie and Katya, to be honest. Like, I don't see it. I think Gigi and Crystal would like give them a good run, because I love Gigi and Crystal together. I think they're really funny. I think they're really fun. I'd watch anything that Jan does, or anything that Heidi and Closet does. I know she's already got like a Wow Presents show, but like I would love to see her do something with someone, if she's not already doing that. Anything with Jujubee in it, basically, would also work for me. Oh, a lot of Juju's runways on All Stars 5 are quite good as well. Oh, an All Stars runway, I feel like you can't compare All Stars runways to regular season runways, because it's like, when they're doing All Stars, they all have money. or in theory, they all have money. Although having said that, season 12 for the runways did feel like it was an all-stars season, to be honest, because some of those runways were absolutely ridiculous. So this is an opinion one, which is UK Drag Race is the best Drag Race. I'd say yes and no. I think it's hard to compare the two because they are different and they do have their own strengths and weaknesses. I loved the first season of Drag Race UK. I thought it was absolutely stunning. It was so fun to see all of these British queens representing. It was just really, really amazing to watch, and all really amazing to see all the different styles of drag. And given the new season that's coming and seeing what all those queens look like, we have got an incredible season of Drag Race ahead of us, and I'm very, very excited. I think the difference between UK and US, I think, is that on UK Drag Race, I don't know, are UK queens less bitchy? It didn't feel like as dramatic a season as Drag Race can sometimes be. So I don't know, are UK queens less bitchy, or am I being really naive? Like, it just didn't feel like as bitchy a season as like as US Drag Race can be sometimes, and I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's the pageant circuit that does that or what. Although, to be fair, Drag Race UK did have its moments. I think I'm more excited for the second season of Drag Race UK than I am for season 13 of US Drag Race. And I think that's because UK Drag Race is very new. And because it's very new, like, it feels a little bit more... Not that I'm saying that US Drag Race is predictable, because it's not. But it feels slightly more unpredictable, like you just don't know what's going to happen. Whereas I feel like when you're watching US Drag Race, sometimes you can kind of get the formula a little bit, and you can kind of see the girls that are doing well, or that are going to go home that week, or that production is favouring. Like, you can kind of see that. Whereas I think with UK Drag Race, it's still new, so the queens that are on it haven't figured out the format yet, if that makes sense. And also because it's like, I don't know, I think there's parts of US Drag Race that maybe don't translate as much because it's not part of the UK drag scene. And I know that it's becoming a part of the UK drag scene because it's on TV, so it's sort of creating new queens whose only frame of reference is Drag Race. So even though it is doing that, I think there's something about UK queens and seeing like people like Ginny Lemon on this season, for example, who are very, very camp divas. And when you, like, people like Tace as well. So, like, you kind of hear them talking and it's like they're not taking themselves, like, super duper seriously. Like, it's still fun to them. Whereas there's times on Drag Race where it feels like they're taking themselves very seriously. I think I'm just rambling now. Okay, so the eyes are mapped out, and I'm going to go in to Monarch, which is the red shade. Again, as I said in the previous video, be careful with red around your eyes. I should have Googled why that is, but I've still not done that. So we're going to do that, and I've been asked, why hasn't a big girl won yet? And the honest answer to that question is I do not know. I feel like big girls on Drag Race are judged, like, differently to the skinnier girls, which is always really hard to watch because you can see them, like, I don't know, I feel like they get judged differently. I feel like they get judged more harshly than the skinnier girls on Drag Race. The reason that one hasn't won yet, I mean, I thought Ginger Minj was going to win season 7 of Drag Race, to be honest. I remember when I was watching it and fully expected Ginger to be the one that won it. So it was a surprise when Violet did. Not that I'm saying Violet didn't deserve it, she absolutely did, but I just thought Ginger was going to do it. I just thought Ginger was going to win. So that was kind of a gag to me. This is not the right brush for this at all. Yeah, I fully thought Ginger was going to win. So it was a big surprise to me when she didn't. I'm not sure why a big girl hasn't won yet. Like, it definitely should have happened by now, but I guess, I mean, my unsolicited Drag Race theory for All Stars is that it was always, okay, you ready for this? This is some deep, deep, deep conspiracy theory right here. My conspiracy theory for All Stars 4 is that it was always meant to be a double win, but the double win was meant to be Latrice and Manila. And I'll tell you why I think that. I think that because both winners of All Stars 4 got a $100,000 check. That's not something you can just pull out of your ass at the last minute. Like, that would have had to be budgeted. That would have had to have been planned for. So I think the double win was always planned for, and I think they thought it was going to be Latrice and Manila. But then Latrice unfortunately didn't have as good of a season as maybe anyone thought she was going to have. Because honestly, I thought she would come into that and I thought she would slay the house down, and then she didn't, which was really upsetting. Although she did do very well, I still think that her verse in Don't Funk It Up was the best one and she should have won that challenge, but that's a different story. I think it was always meant to be a double win and they wanted it to be Latrice and Manila, but that obviously didn't happen because of various reasons. Not that I'm saying that they deserved to have that double win and that Trinity and Monet didn't deserve it, because they absolutely did. Like, they absolutely slaughtered that season and it was fully theirs, I think. Like, they're both absolute superstars. Like, I love Monet Exchange hugely. I saw her in Death Drop at the Garrick before we went into tier 3 and I thought she was absolutely phenomenal. But that's my unsolicited, like, Drag Race conspiracy theory, was that it was always meant to be a double win, but it was intended for Latrice and Manila. So, God, where's my brain gone? Why isn't a big girl one? I don't know. It probably should have happened by now. Big girls that have made the final. So you look at Ginger. I do think Ginger probably should have won season 7, or at the very least she was in with a shot of winning season 7. Season 10 had Eureka in the final. I don't think she was the right fit to win that season. I still think if the butterfly thing hadn't happened, I think it was Asia O'Hara's season. And Silky in the season finale of season 11, I don't think she should have been there. I didn't love Silky on season 11. I thought she was... I don't know how she got there. I don't know how she got to the end of that season, to be honest. I don't think she did all that well. That's just my opinion. It's a TV show, for crying out loud. That was a long way of essentially saying, I don't know. I would love there to be a big girl winning Drag Race. I do think it's about time. And I don't know why it's not happened yet. Maybe it'll happen on All Stars 6. Next question. Going through lineups for UK and US would be fun, with guesses in how far they get. I don't really know if I can guess how far these queens are going to get. I've not actually watched season 13 queen reveal yet. I've not watched it because I did want to do like a reaction to it. I have watched the season 2 one and I've recorded a reaction to it. And it's whether or not that goes up before this or not. So you may already know my feelings, but I'll tell you them now. I'm a huge fan of Tace in the outside world. I've seen her perform. I think she's absolutely ridiculously talented. I'm a big fan of Sister Sister, again, ridiculously talented. So I hope they do well. I can see Tace doing really, really well. She is stupidly talented, and here's a long story. So she's part of the same drag family as Cheryl Hole. They were both in, I believe they were both in Not Another Drag Competition, which was a drag competition that was held in London. I've heard from my MA advisor that she can do it all, and I believe that. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's stupid talented. And much like with Cheryl, and I said this in my, when I did my boy queen look, much like with Cheryl, I think it's very like, put her in the bottom 2, I dare you. Put her in the bottom 2 and watch her absolutely destroy the other queen. Because, honey, she is a fierce lip syncer. No doubt about it. She is ridiculous. I don't think Regal was the right colour choice, because actually this is coming out a lot darker than I wanted it to, so I'm going to go on top of it with the gold and hope I can save it. Oh yes, this gold is way better. Okay, good. Thank goodness for that. Okay, onwards. So yeah, I'm hoping that Taste does really well, because I already know that she's incredible, so I want her to be able to show everyone how amazing she is. Same with Sister Sister. In case it's unclear, I'm like Team Taste and Team Sister Sister, I think, because I've seen them perform and they're amazing. But I think the queens for this series look absolutely astonishing. The promo look was gorgeous because, unlike last year, they decided to do something cohesive instead of something like really random. So that was good. And yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely cracking season of Drag Race. I can't wait. And also it's going to be really interesting to like, because they did go home partway through filming. So it's going to be interesting to see what the difference is and how they deal with that exactly, because like a 6-month gap. I'm excited. I think it's going to be such a great season of the show, honestly. It's going to be brilliant and none of us are ready for it. I know we're not. It's going to be great. Right, so we're going to finish up these eyes. I'm going to go around with my Epic Wear Waterproof white liquid liner just to kind of finish all this up. And then I'll be able to do the little green under the eye, which will make this properly festive, I think. Do I really want to do that green? I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I come to it. Next question is favourite All-Stars season. Favourite All-Stars season. Oh my god, not me trying to talk while I'm doing liquid liner. Not this. Favourite All-Stars season. I mean, I've already said that I really love All-Stars 2. I love All-Stars 2 because I just think it's a really great season of the show. It's a great set of queens. It's got some absolutely killer runways. I swear every time I do this eye, this white comes lower and lower. I'm just turning myself into Trixie Mattel, clearly. Yeah, so I love All-Stars 2. I think it's a great season of the show, a great bunch of queens, really great challenges, incredible runways. I'm also a big fan of All-Stars 3. It is no secret that I'm a huge fan of Trixie Mattel. So watching that season is, I mean, stressful, but also joyful for me. I also have a lot of like personal attachment to that series because it was like, because season All-Stars 3 was the first season of the show that I watched that was completely live. So it was the first season where I had to wait week on week to get my fix. Like, I think I caught up with Drag Race the year season 9 was out, so like I caught up with it and then carried on and finished season, and like I think there were a couple of weeks of season 9 before it finished that I like watched live. But All Stars 3 I think was the first season of the show that I watched where I was watching it week on week, and it was the most stressful experience of my life because it is an absolutely killer lineup. And yeah, it was an absolutely incredible lineup of queens, and it just, oh, I thought it was great. I always think it's great to see like the queens come back and do really, really well. And I don't think anyone came back and like bombed the season. I think they all came back and like showed themselves in a really good light, and I think that's brilliant. That looks really good. I'm gonna do the other side off camera because I can't talk while I do this. Let's do a little bit of contour. So get that deep shade right in the pocket and just pull it down. Oh, next question. Where are the kings? That is a very good question. I don't know if we'll ever see kings on RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know if we ever will, because I think they're very focused on drag queens, and I think that means that we're not going to see kings on Drag Race. I would like to be proved wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen in the same way that it's happened for like Dragula, where we've had like kings on there as well. I really wish it would, because it would be so incredible, but I just can't see it happening, which makes me quite sad as it happens. I would love for that to happen, but I don't think it will, which sucks. I mean, we have our first trans male contestant in Gottmik this season on season 13. So it's a step in the right direction. It's still got a hell of a long way to go. And it's glacial, which is sad. But hopefully we'll have more trans representation on there soon, which will be amazing. I would like that a lot. But I don't know if kings will ever make it onto Drag Race, which is really, really sad. I think they need their own show. Absolutely, because I think there needs to be more of a focus on drag kings, because drag queens are amazing. Absolutely. I love them. But there are some kings out there that are absolutely fabulous and will blow your freaking mind. So I think there needs to be something that is focusing on drag kings, because we're missing out. If we're not seeing drag kings, we're all losing out, really, because there are some astonishing drag kings out there. I mean, Landon Cider from Dragula is the tip of the iceberg. There's some incredible ones out there, and I think there needs to be a show that celebrates that. And it's probably the thing about Drag Race that annoys me the most, is the lack of representation in that sense, and the lack of like appreciation. I think the queens are always amazing at, or like the queens are amazing at like kind of drawing attention to kings as well as to queens. So I'm hoping that that will continue, because they're an important part of all of this as well. It's not just about drag queens, Jesus. And anyone who thinks it is doing it wrong, frankly. The next one is the cheap use of the trans experience on Drag Race. I think I'm not a trans person, so I cannot speak to this in a big way. What I will say is that I think people coming out as trans on the show, I think, has been great representation for people, and it's been a good thing for people to see. And I imagine that it has helped some people on their own journeys. I imagine. I don't know that for a fact. I imagine it has. I think the thing that I find a bit rich, and the thing that I find most irritating, is that there are queens, trans queens, who have been on the show and have had to stop taking their hormones, have had to present as male in order to get on the show, which is just terrible and so not it. So I think they need trans queens on Drag Race. They need AFAB queens on Drag Race. They need to just do it. I mean, for crying out loud, it's 2020. It'll be 2021 by the time they're doing season 14. Get into it. I do think that the way that they have treated some trans contestants in the past and making them do that is really, really awful. And like the fact that RuPaul has said that if Peppermint had had her breast surgery before she went on there, she wouldn't have been able to compete because it's like a performance enhancer or whatever, which is just bullshit. So the long and short of that is, I think the trans experience being visible is a good thing, but I think they also need to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to actually having trans queens on the show. Otherwise, they're just doing it for like lip service. They're just doing it to do it. Do you know what I mean? They're just doing it to be like, look, trans representation, when really they should just be putting a trans girl on the show. Like everything that happened with Gia Gunn on All Stars 4 just really annoyed me. Like they paid her absolute nooch on that show, and it was just really annoying because like her performance, okay, so she wasn't the best queen on that season, but her performance in the talent show was gag worthy. Her performance in the lip sync against Naomi Smalls was gag worthy, and they paid her absolute nooch, and it was so awful to watch that happen because it was like they deliberately put her on there to fail, and that really upset me. I forgot where I was going with this, but yes, can we put a trans queen on the show already, please? Like that would just be like amazing if we could do that. And AFAB queens on the show, like we need more of them on there because they are out there and they are absolutely serving and doing incredible work. To ignore them is like criminal. Onwards to the next thing, which is season 6 is actually one of my least favorite seasons. Controversial. I mean, based on the fact that like someone has already said that season 6 is their favorite, that is a controversial opinion. That is correct. I think we're all entitled to enjoy our own seasons. I love season 6. I do. I think season 3 and season 4 I think are my favourites because they've got some of my favourite queens on them. I also really love season 5. It's sort of around season 3, 4, 5, 6 where it really finds its feet and finds what it's doing, and I think that's why I love that like middle section of the series is so much. Yeah, I think that is a controversial opinion. I think a lot of people view season 6 as the best one. So do with that what you will. This is heavy, heavy dark contour. Good grief. Thoughts on an... still got more of these. Thoughts on an all winners season. Do I do red under the eye or green under the eye? I don't know. I think it's going to have to be red under the eye because I don't want to mess this up. So, thoughts on an all winners season. I have so many opinions about an all winners season. I kind of don't want it to happen because I will find it too stressful. I love too many of the queens that have won. So I love Jinx, I love Bianca, I love... Actually, literally, basically, there's no queen that has won that I've been like, I don't like them. Like, I like all the winners. So an all winners season would just stress me out. And I don't think I could deal with it. I think it would be just too much for me. And also, I see a lot of things where I've seen tweets in the past that have been like, this person would win an all winners season and here's why. And like I read them and all I can really think was the person who will win an all winners season of RuPaul's Drag Race is the person that production wants to win an all winners season of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I'll tell you why that's the tea, Christine. Because production decides the challenges. So whoever they want to win, they could, I'm not saying they would, but they could tailor the challenges to likely fit a particular outcome if they wanted to. So, but honestly, the thought of it stresses me out because some fans of Drag Race are just awful human beings. So to kind of put them in an all winners season situation just feels like a recipe for disaster and a recipe for like internet horror. And actually that's probably what they want, because it'd be a lot of people talking about the show, but I just think it would be awful. I would hate it. I would hate it so much. I would watch it and I would spend the whole thing feeling uncomfortable, because the problem with an all winners season is that everyone has their favorite winner, and in that sense it means that whoever wins, no one will win. Do you know what I mean? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. So we're gonna do a red lip because Christmas. And the next question is, who would you bring back for another season of All Stars? I'm trying to find my pencil sharpener. Who would I bring back for another season of All Stars? Shangela. No. I would, for another season of All Stars, Jesus. I mean, not for another season of All Stars, but for a season of All Stars, I'd love to see Asia O'Hara, and I'd love to see Cameron Michaels, and I'd love to see Nina West, and I would love to see Kyria. I would love to see Brooklyn Heights, but Brooklyn Heights will never go back now, I don't think. I would love to see Gigi and Crystal. I would love to see Heidi. There's a lot of queens I would really love to see on an All-Star season. As for ones I would bring back for another one, I'd love to see Tatiana do it again. Because she served the first time round, and maybe without Relaskatox there, she'd actually go further. Or like, you know, I think she should have got a lot further than she did, but because of Relaskatox, she didn't. I would love to see Coco Montrese on another season of All Stars. I would love to see Adore Delano on another season of All Stars, but doesn't quit this time. I'm literally going through the seasons in my brain. Chanel from season 1 of All Stars and season 1 of Drag Race. I'd love to see her on another season. I'd love to see Raven do it, but Raven probably won't at this point either. Yeah, there's quite a few that I'd bring back for another season of All Stars, I think. Dream Work the World tour lineup. I've never been to Work the World before, which definitely feels like something I should have done at this point in my life. But I have never been. I would love to go. Dream Work the World. I mean, like, literally it'd just be all my favourite queens. So it'd be Bob, and it would be Shay, and it would be Jujubee, and Trixie, and Katya, and Jada, and Violet Chachki, and Chad Michaels. It would be all of my favourites, essentially. Kennedy Davenport. Oh, that would be a show. Shangela. It would be great. This is the wrong shade of red. This is Ruby for me, which is the one that I used in my last one of these, because that other red is a bit too pinky. Season 4 was the best season. I mean, it was very good. Season 4 gave us Latrice Royale, for something for which we should all be incredibly grateful. It also gave us Willem, and it gave us Jiggly Caliente, and it gave us Chad Michaels. It gave us one of the best rivalries in Drag Race history with Fifi and Sharon. It gave us Dita Ritz, and that incredible lip sync with the princess to Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole. It was a great season of the show. I've already expressed that it is one of my favourites. Any predictions on the twist in season 13? I think we know what this is at this point, don't we? Or at least I know what it is, because I think I've read what it is, so I'm not going to mention it, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But like, I saw a spoiler and I read it, and I have no shame. I wanted to know what it was, and I went looking for it, and I found it, I think. Just trust and believe that it's going to be good. This is like some weird Padme Amidala realness right now. So, my next question is season 3, question mark, and I'm assuming you mean season 3 of Drag Race UK. No comment. What could I possibly have to say about that? Nothing at all. I applied, and then I chickened out. So, well, actually, it was a combination of chickening out and also, like, you had to do the tape, and I didn't feel ready for it. And I think I'll apply again. And that's all the questions that I had. So we're going to finish off this little lookie. I'm going to finish off these lips, and then we're going to put on some lashes. I'm probably going to use the NYX Glitter Goals again, because that feels festive, doesn't it? And I'll be back when I've got my lashes on and everything, and I'll put on an outfit or something. And there we have the finished look. We've gone blonde for today. Got this lovely little coppery number, and I think that kind of goes. It doesn't go as much as I want it to, but I'm very pleased with how this face turned out. I put a little bit of highlight on the cheeks and on the nose. We've got little white lines around the lips, and we've got our lashes on. Today we are wearing 3-way lashes and power bottoms. And yeah, that's the finished look. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, I hope you enjoyed that. Please tell me your opinions on these Drag Race opinions in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. But that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to put a thumb in it and subscribe down below if you want to see more. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will speak to you as soon as I possibly can. Bye! Oh! Oh, I do love a blonde moment. A woman.